Hi, I'm Hugh Jackman. I challenge you to hit that free like button if you think that Gambit deserves his own box office movie. It's pathetic how Marvel keeps disrespecting Gambit.
So here's my overall letter grade for Tony Khan, man, as the owner of All Elite Fake Pro Wrestling. I will give him a D plus. And listen, people need to realize this. He was always a D plus since day one. Listen, I made a video maybe 1 year ago, right? But people don't remember it. All my videos always age well. That's why I love tossing it in people's faces, because I have to. I'm never wrong when it comes to my views on fake pro wrestling. It's easy, right? So the video was called Tony Khan, man, he desperately needs Vince McMahon to come back. Okay, what did I mean by that? Okay, since that video over a year ago, how do you view Tony Khan, man? How do you view All Elite Wrestling since that video? Because all the marks, they looked at Vince McMahon as the boogeyman, right? Where, by comparison, people thought Dynamite was the better show compared to what Vince McMahon was doing. But I was the only one saying, like, bruh, Dynamite is trash. Rampage is trash. I'm like, that's not a high bar. That's not a high bar to be better than Raw. That's not a high bar to be better than SmackDown at that point in time. So I'm like, why are you patting Tony Khan, man, on the back for doing something that's very, very easy, which is trying to book better shows than Vince McMahon? It's the equivalent of, I don't know, let's talk about Chuck Norris. His movies are very, very boring, but by comparison, Steven Seagal has way better movies than Chuck Norris, but the bar is not that high. That's not saying much, right? That's my point. So I never thought Tony Khan, man, was better than Vince McMahon. Never. I never thought Dynamite was better than Raw or SmackDown. I was the only guy on YouTube saying it. But people thought I was a hater. Listen, I saw this. I predicted the downfall of All Elite Fake Pro Wrestling. And I said in that video that all of the Tony Khan nut huggers on YouTube was going to turn on him. Bro, even some of the biggest YouTubers have turned on Tony Khan, man. Who saw that coming? Me. 1 year ago. Tony Khan, man, was never better than Vince McMahon as a booker. Him winning the goddamn Booker of the Year. Listen, that was staged. Okay, that was a fan voting. That don't count. That was very, very biased. He did not deserve that fake ass award. Now we see it. Listen, Tony Khan, man, was always a bad booker since day one, 5 years ago. Like I said, it's not that hard to book better shows than Vince McMahon right now as we speak. It's not that hard because people were dying for an alternative. That's what Tony Khan, man, took advantage of. People thought Raw was trash. People thought SmackDown was trash, right? Under Vince McMahon. So people were desperate for a different company to take that mantle as competition. So they jumped on the All Elite Fake Pro Wrestling bandwagon. And Tony Khan, man, took advantage. But he was always trash as a booker. Like, don't get it twisted. It's like, let's say you in high school and your girl is like, what, maybe a 5 out of 10. Let's say you bring her to your prom and there's tons of girls that are not that good looking. But by comparison, your girl is like a fucking 8 out of 10. That's what this is. It's like the bar was set low, bruh. He was never good. And you marks have been exposed, right? You was trying to dance on the grave of Vince McMahon the moment he stepped down, right? The moment he did that, I made a video saying, All Elite Wrestling, they need Vince McMahon to come back to run the company. That's what I said. I said they need him to come back to take away power from Triple H so he can run the company once again. Right? By comparison, who's better? Triple H or Tony Khan, man? Triple H is Tony Khan, man's worst nightmare, right? And here's why. Triple H was the original Tony Khan, man. Let me repeat. Back in 2018, 2016, he was the OG Tony Khan, man. That's a fact. That is a hardcore fact. The fans loved Triple H by comparison versus Vince McMahon. right? The moment Vince McMahon took away power from Triple H down in NXT, Tony Khan Man became the good guy that people wanted to root for. That's what it was. People wanted to root for Tony Khan Man and his company because people saw Vince McMahon and Nick Khan as evil guys that were power hungry, that didn't like what Triple H was doing down in NXT, right? So Tony Khan Man was viewed as the babyface by comparison. So fast forward years later, who is now the villain? Triple H or Tony Khan Man? I'll rest my case. I saw this. I predicted this. In fact, I'm going to put the link of that old video in this video just for context because I got receipts. Listen, you people need to go back and watch all of my old videos. What is your problem? Watch my old videos. All of my content ages well. Months later, years later, 1 year later, I saw this coming. I said, you marks, you look at Vince McMahon as the goddamn Candyman, as an evil guy. You were celebrating Vince McMahon's downfall, and you thought that Tony Khan Man was going to take advantage of Vince McMahon leaving. My God, Tony Khan Man was celebrating. Holy shit, hold on. I gotta go back and view that tweet. The moment Vince McMahon stepped down, Tony Khan Man made a tweet saying, I think he said he is the longest tenured owner in all of fake pro wrestling as we speak. Like he was trying to dance on the grave of Vince McMahon. He thought, hey, I won. Now I'm the king. No, bitch. Everybody thought Tony Khan Man was now the king. People thought he defeated Vince McMahon. I'm like, bro, nah. This is the downfall of AEW. That's what I said the moment Vince McMahon stepped down. I said, this is the downfall of all elite fake pro wrestling. That's what I said, bitch. Go back and watch that video because that was a fact. They have low ratings. Tony Khan Man has made a fucking fool out of himself every week. He says dumb shit. He books bad shows. He don't know how to book the right talent. He loves small men. So this dude has not changed since Vince McMahon has left. Like I said, people think Tony Khan Man has been booking bad shows these past 2 years, but I'm sorry to break it to you. This man has been booking trash shows for the past 5 years. It's just you were so blinded with your Vince McMahon hate, right? You hated Raw. You hated SmackDown. You hated how Vince McMahon was always firing people. You hated that. You hated how Vince McMahon was always releasing people that were your fan favorites. Okay? What has Keith Lee done? Wow, bro. I got receipts. What has the great Keith Lee done? Nothing. What about Ruby Riott? She has done nothing. Ruby Riott has done nothing. Who else? There's like so much more people that he released. Fucking Aleister Black hasn't done a damn thing when it comes to his career in all elite wrestling. Pac hasn't done a damn thing. All these people that Vince McMahon released, Tony Khan Man hasn't done a damn thing with these people. Let's talk about Andre Idol. This man is back in the World Wrestling Federation. People thought this was a great signing 2 years ago. Remember? People thought Andrade was going to be a star in all elite fake pro wrestling. That was not the case. He's back in his old company. And Andre Idol, my God, he had an awful run in AEW. Whose fault is that? Who's booking these shows, right? What about Buddy Matthews? He ain't doing shit in all elite fake pro wrestling. So, I'm never wrong when it comes to my assessment with professional wrestling. I saw this coming. You never loved Tony Khan, man. You never did. You hated Vince McMahon. But now that Triple H is in charge, let's be honest, we don't need all elite wrestling. That's the fucked up part about it. The only reason people wanted a alternative to the WWF was because they hated how Vince McMahon was booking shows and they felt like he's never going to step down. So they jumped on the all elite wrestling bandwagon. And now they look fucking stupid now. I bet you hope Vince McMahon does come back, bitch. You need him. Because if he comes back, people will love Tony Khan again, right? Vince McMahon, his booking, it maxed the awfulness of AEW. That's what it was. Vince McMahon booking Raw and SmackDown, it made All Elite Wrestling look good by comparison. Where am I lying? I'm not lying. That's speaking facts. So, listen, the fucked up part about it is Triple H don't look at All Elite Wrestling as competition. That's the fucked up part about it, man. Triple H is in competition with his father-in-law, not Tony Khan. Triple H wants to be better than Vince McMahon. He wants to fill his shoes. He don't care about Tony Khan. That's the fucked up part about it. Listen, we don't need All Elite Wrestling around. This company was made on the back of Vince McMahon. This company was made from Vince McMahon hate. That's crazy. People need to bring this up. All Elite Wrestling, it was made from Vince McMahon hate, right? Tony Khan, man, wanted to be a pillar for the people that were starving for a new company that can combat how awful Vince McMahon was booking shows, right? When it comes to the Mark's eyes. Okay, now he's gone now. Now we got Triple H. He is the OG Tony Khan, man. Remember? Every takeover, all these smart marks, all these smarks were jerking off Triple H on how great takeover was. Remember? Every fucking month. Every month, people were jerking off to how good Adam Coleslaw versus, I don't know, fucking Ricochet is. People were jerking off to Johnny G versus Adam Coleslaw. Fucking 40-minute matches. People were jerking off to those matches, right? People were saying, man, how come TakeOver is better than the main roster pay-per-views, right? Remember? Dog, I remember like it was yesterday. That's how high people were on Triple H. Everybody wanted Triple H to run the company based on the black and gold NXT. Okay, now he's back. Now he's in charge. Okay, everybody's wish has been granted. So what do we need All Elite Wrestling around for? By that same logic. If that company was only started and made from Vince McMahon hate, right? Listen, there was a point in time where Cody Rhodes did not want to come back to the World Wrestling Federation. There was a point in time where Kenny Omega did not want to go to the World Wrestling Federation because of Vince McMahon. Right? So by that logic, listen, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, they turned down the World Wrestling Federation to start AEW because they did not want to be booked by Vince McMahon. Now, do you get it? So, people never loved this company. You loved All Elite Wrestling because you thought it was different from how Vince McMahon was booking Raw and SmackDown all these years. Right? That's my point. So, to make a long story short, I would grade Tony Khan, man, a D+ as a booker of this company. What do I think about how the way he's been booking Swerve Scott? Listen, let's be patient. Let's wait and see. Like, holy shit, this is the Cody Rhodes syndrome. It's like, you marks, you have no chill. I'm like, bro, let him cook. Because at the end of the day, the title doesn't put the talent over. The talent puts over the title. That's how that works. Be patient. It's like the man just won a goddamn belt. Let him cook. Let Swerve have feuds first, bitch. Same thing with Cody Rhodes. Like, what do you want from Cody Rhodes? Right? He's facing Logan Paul. That's a great matchup. What do you want? It's like, okay, how would you book Swerve Scott? Really? To me, he's doing just fine. Listen, let Swerve Scott have multiple feuds first, and then let's judge his title reign. At least give him 6 goddamn months. I'm like, why do you people have so much, I don't know, short-term memories? It's like, you want shit now. I'm like, even Roman Reigns, that was not his mindset. His mindset was let things marinate, let things cook first, be patient. So, what do I think about Tony Big Booty Storm? To me, she is still doing great. I like how Tony Storm has been booked. Big Booty, timeless, Tony Storm has been doing great. Damn. Sasha Banks has been doing awful. That girl has been exposed. Dog, she can't talk. I'm like, this is the great Sasha Banks you people were jerking off to? That's crazy. I'm like, bruh, I don't think Tony Khan, man, can make her interesting. But that exposes him as well. That's what I mean. D+. What do I think about the new faction between the Bucks, Okada, and Jack Perry? Listen, I made a video, I think last month, I said that this group, they need to take over the show. And that's what they're doing. That's crazy that Tony Khan, man, actually took my idea that I wanted him to take. I'm like, dog, take it. These guys should be the faces of the goddamn show. They should run a show like the NWO. And that's what they're doing. That's great stuff. What do I think about Roderick Strong? He's a solid champion, but like I said, Tony Khan, man, he dropped the ball on the Devil storyline. I'm like, dog, man, that's crazy, man. People don't care about Adam Coleslaw. People don't care about this faction. People don't care about Wardlow. People don't care about Matt Taven, Mike Bennett. Whose fault is that? That's Khan Man's fault. I think Jack Perry should have been the goddamn Devil. Now, do you get it? Which faction has the most heat right now as we speak? It's the EVPs and Okada, right? And Jack Perry. Who saw that coming? That's what I mean. I did not want Adam Coleslaw to be the goddamn Devil. I wanted Jack Perry to be the Devil because he has tons of heat as we speak. Prime example, the Bucks, Okada, and Perry. Prime example. See, I speak facts. What do I think about Edge as the TNT champion? Man, this has been a total downgrade for Edge. I'm like, why is Edge a mid-card champion for a second-tier company? That's my fucking point, dog. It's crazy. This is Edge. Why is he a mid-card champion for a second-rate company? That's crazy. That's insane in a membrane. What do I think about Will Ospreay? He's solid, but he's not better than Ricochet. He's all work rate. He is not special. He is all work rate. Nothing grabs me about Will Ospreay. What do I think about Chris Jericho? Tony Khan, man, has ruined the legacy of Chris Jericho by giving him too much freedom and power when it comes to booking. Every month, this clown has a new gimmick. And you marks keep on saying he's the king of reinventing himself. Okay, every year, a new gimmick, a new nickname. Bruh, that's trash. That's lazy. So, every time the audience gets tired of my gimmick, I have to cop out and change it every year. Bruh, that means you are trying to mask your awfulness, right? That means you are not trying to admit that you are trash as a character. So your excuse is, okay, I gotta make a new gimmick. I gotta make a new nickname. I'm like, bruh, that's a you problem. So yes, Jericho has been exposed as a guy with terrible, awful ideas. I mean, bro, he is a meme. This is embarrassing. Every year, a new gimmick. Bruh, if this was the World Wrestling Federation, that's called bad booking. That means that Vince McMahon, he doesn't know what to do with you. If he keeps giving you multiple gimmicks, a new gimmick every year, that's not reinvention. That means you are lost. Right? Right. That's my point. Chris Jericho has been ruined. And that's a fact. What do I think about Wardlow? Man, listen, he needs to come to the World Wrestling Federation. Period. Hobbs, same thing. He needs to come to the World Wrestling Federation. Okay, what do I think about the BBC? Right? Brian, fucking Dean Ambrose, and their boring ass faction. Man, every year, that faction gets boring and more boring. That's wild. Yeah, they suck. That's a boring ass faction. Listen, they need to add Kyle O'Reilly. That's who they need to add. Hold on. Where the fuck is Wheeler Useless? Is that guy still employed? Like, bruh, where the fuck is Wheeler Useless? What do I think about Daniel Garcia? Now, he does have upside, but man, he needs to work on his awful punches. But Dan Garcia, he does remind me of Alex Wright from WCW, so he does have some upside. When it comes to Keith Lee, he sucks. What happened to Jericho gives people the rub? Okay, what about Action Andretti? Right? Remember? What about Mario Andretti? Remember he beat Jericho? Okay, what did that do for his career? Shit, nothing. Let's move on. What do I think about Adam Page? Listen, I think Adam Page should join the EVPs. That's my prediction. That will revitalize his career as a heel. That's his group. He needs to be in it. Let's see, who's next? What do I think about Bowens and Max Caster? Man, those guys have fell off. That's wild, man. Those guys that really fell off. What do I think about Orange Cassidy? Listen, the joke is over. His gimmick is dead. He needs to evolve. See, he's different. Orange Cassidy, that guy needs to reinvent himself. That's what I mean, not Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is a made man. But Orange Cassidy, bro, you gotta change that gimmick to something else. We are over your lazy, nonchalant gimmick. It's done, it's over. Move on. So, who's next? Okay, what do I think about Jay White? He's solid, but he needs Juice Robinson. He needs OJ, the Juice Man Robinson, back badly. Good Lord, man. Jay White is boring without Juice Robinson. That's a huge fact. Big Bill, bruh, he does not know how to book Big Bill. He does not know how to book Big Cass. So, how come he left Starks? Now he's with Jericho? Okay, I need story on why he left Starks. That makes no sense. That's awful bad booking. What do I think about the House of Black? They are very boring and below average. What do I think about Brian Cage? Yeah, he's boring too. I'm sorry. I know he's jacked, swole, but he's boring. I don't think Triple H would push Brian Cage because Brian Cage has no charisma or personality. He's all muscle and work rate. Yeah, he needs to stay in All Elite Fake Pro Wrestling. There's nothing more you can do with Brian Cage. Who's next? How about FTR? Listen, those guys, they need to go back to the World Wrestling Federation. What do I think about Christian Cage? He's solid. He's a great heel. I like him. What do I think about Claudio? Listen, he needs to be an all-elite fake pro wrestling lifer. This company was made for guys like him. So what do I think about Hook? Hook will be in NXT very soon. What do I think about Jay Lethal? It's sad that he turned Jay into a goddamn jobber. That's wild. Listen, this whole entire roster has not been booked great. It seems like Tony Khan, he thinks his audience are filled with idiots that don't want context. He thinks people are not going to remember that Big Cass was tag team partners with Ricky Starks, and that's insane in the goddamn membrane. What do I think about Roosh? Roosh is solid. What do I think about Samoa Joe? He is great. He's solid. What do I think about Pac? Listen, Pac needs to go back to the World Wrestling Federation. I think that's where he should go. Nick Wayne, he sucks. I would say when it comes to the women's division, his 4 top girls that I feel like, no way, he was booking them great. And that's Big Booty Toni Storm, Jamie Hayter, Jade Cargill, and Chris Statlander. Those 4 girls, man, he booked them great. But overall, I would give Con Man a D+ because, man, he is not that good. He needs to stop writing shows for his own personal pleasure. He's becoming very Vince McMahon-like. And that's insane, right? I'm like, bro, hire better writers. If it's broke, you gotta fix it. And when it comes to my point of view, I don't think Tony Khan, man, will ever get better as a writer. I would say the best thing on the show is the hostile takeover of the EVPs, Okada and Jack Perry. Listen, be patient with Swerve Scott. He's been doing great as the world champion. It's like, you gotta be patient. I think Swerve Scott will be a great champion for All Elite Fake Pro Wrestling. Bruh, it's been 1 month. Give him time. Let him have better programs with better wrestlers. That's it. I'm done.